Alright, so we just got a huge update to Fortnite, and unfortunately, it was a massive nerf to the entire game. I guess depending how you look at it. So first of all, let me get my patch notes and just see what these patch notes say. Here they are, right here. So, as I mentioned, they basically reverted a whole boatload of changes that were relatively new. So for example, the 50 health or shield, depending on what you needed per kill, has been taken away. And that's truly unfortunate. When it first came out, I didn't think I would like it. However, after playing with it for several weeks, it definitely grew on me. And in fact, it was one of the only ways to combat third party. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's when you're in an intense fight with one guy and some newbie booby sneaks up on you from behind and just tries to kill both of you or the sole survivor. And in that situation, let's say you had 100 health and the guy you were fighting took you down to say 5, and then you killed him. You would have 55 health still, and the guy that was third-partying you wouldn't have that much of an advantage. Now, however, let's say you kill that guy and you're down to 5 health, you still have that 5 health. And that guy can one-shot you with basically anything. So it was truly beneficial for third party. So of course, everyone and their mother complained that thirsting was just way too prevalent. And by thirsting, of course, I mean if you got knocked in a squad or duos-based game, that someone would instantly finish you off just to get that 50 shield, 50 health bonus. And that was kind of true, but at the same time, that happened even before those changes were implemented into the game. I just don't understand why people complain about thirsting. I mean, if you knock someone, it's your primary objective to get them out of the game. You don't want to let their teammate come and raise them. Yeah, it is disappointing if you get thirsted right away, but that's the point of the game. Like, who in their right mind would want an enemy teammate to come and raise the guy you just knocked? I mean, the people complaining about that just boggles my mind. Not to mention, we've got leaked information that they're bringing respawns back. They're bringing those battle buses that can respawn you if you die. So it makes no sense why they took these changes out. It just boggles my mind. But that's not all they reverted. They reverted the harvesting changes too. So the 40% bonus that we used to get for harvesting has now been reverted. So now it's back to the farming simulator. And likewise, you no longer get the 150 material per kill. Before, when you killed someone, you get 50 wood, 50 brick, 50 steel, and you no longer get that. So combine that with the 40% harvesting decrease, and it's once again, like I said, the farming simulator, especially at the start of a match. I guess the one good thing about this is that the material cap is no longer 500, 500, 500, and now it's 999 across the board. But at the same time, that 40% harvesting bonus is gone, so it's going to take even longer to get that many materials. So let me know in the comments just about this part. Do you agree with the revert to these changes? Like I said, I for one am truly disappointed. They grew on me and they were a nice change to the game, but I guess just too many people complained. So that was the massive nerf to the entire game. How about a few buffs? Luckily, the infantry rifle, which is probably the worst weapon in the entire game and one that I couldn't wait to get vaulted, got a bit of a buff. So this thing used to be projectile based, meaning it functioned just like a sniper rifle. Now, however, they changed it to a hit scan, which is just like the assault rifles. So if you missed half your shots last time, that was why, because it was projectile. Now, because it's now a hit scan, they had to lower the damage just a bit. Now, I guess since they did take away the health siphon, which we just talked about, they added some new forageable items. So bananas will give you 5 health when you eat them, and they can be found in the tropical biomes, which is more or less just the northeast part of the map. And then there's coconuts, which can be foraged by damaging palm trees. So you hit the palm trees and they'll fall down. And when you eat these, they'll either give you 5 health or 5 shield over a short time, depending on which one you need. And these can be found in the tropical and desert biomes, so the northeast and the southeast of the map. And lastly, in the desert only, so the southeast, are peppers. And when you eat these, you get 5 health as well as a 20% speed increase for 10 seconds. So that's pretty cool. Now, another change they're going to be implementing soon, so this one's not in the game yet. It says future baller iterations. And it says, we've noticed a lot of discussion around the baller, so here's an update. We're not satisfied with the current use of ballers, specifically in the late game. So as you can see here, I have 0 kills and I'm camping in a baller just to demonstrate this. So it says, with the next update, we'll release a change that will allow players to shoot through the glass of the baller. Non-glass parts will still have collision and block damage from bullets. Now in this update, it says the baller can no longer apply damage to players on collision. The knockback / bounce effect will remain unchanged. So that means you can still break walls, but you just can't damage players anymore. So I don't know if people even knew that you could damage players, but it did some significant damage if you bounced off their face. And it was quite frustrating, especially if you couldn't hit the ball. So I think those were all the major changes. But in addition, they added the poison dart trap. And this can be placed on walls, floors, and ceilings, just like every other trap. But unlike every other trap, this one says it can be triggered up to 3 grid cells away. And it fires a poison dart projectile in a distance of 3 horizontal grid cells. And anyone hit by these darts will receive a damage over time effect that applies damage directly to health, bypassing any shields. So potentially, if you had 200 health, with 100 shield, 100 health, you could die despite having that 100 shield still, if that makes sense. And it'll do 10 health damage per tick, with 8 ticks over 7 seconds, so it can only do 80 damage total. And then it says subsequent hits will refresh the duration of the effect, but the amount of damage per tick does not change. So it sounds like it could be useful. Getting someone to trigger it is a whole nother story, I guess. Alright, so the next thing that got changed was the buried treasure map. And when you have one of these now, it pings automatically every 3 seconds. So as you can see, just as I said, every 3 seconds that red arrow indicator will pop up. Whereas before you had to manually swap either to it like this, or you could push the fire button like this. And you can still do both of those. But to make it a little easier to micromanage, now you don't have to do anything. You just have to have the map out, and it will ping automatically every 3 seconds. Now, unfortunately, it still does not show up on your minimap. I guess that would be a bit too overpowered. So that's a nice change. A little easier to use the buried treasure map. I like it. And then they adjusted the cannonballs just slightly, but it's nothing to write home about, so I'm not even going to mention it. But those are the major changes. Basically, they nerfed the crap out of the game by taking the Siphon and the materials bonus and the 40% harvest speed out of the game, and I, for one, think that's disappointing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Are you a fan of this change? Are you angry? Let me know. I'm curious, because on Reddit, everyone is super mad about it. But at the same time, everyone on Reddit were the ones complaining that they were getting thirsted by what they call sweats every game. And they were the ones demanding this change, and now the change has been made, and they're all crying about it. So I'm a little upset about it, but I can get used to how the game used to function. And who knows, maybe they'll revert some of these changes. Maybe they'll bring some back. They're always monitoring things, and they're always changing things in this game. So don't get your knickers in a twist if you're not a fan of these changes, because maybe they'll revert them back. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to showcase some of these patch notes updates, and hopefully you guys have a great day.